Well, I got my work cut out for me because picking 3 shoot-em-ups that are my top 3 for Top 3 Tuesday, Mike, you're killing me. Hey everybody, Mike Tendo here, and I am doing Top 3 Tuesday for MichaelBTheGameGenie. This is a video response to his video. So every week, Mike's been posting videos and basically carrying on the torch of the Top 3 Tuesday videos, where you pick, based on a specific theme, Top 3. And this week's Top 3 is Top 3 shoot-em-ups, or shooters, of all time. So, I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna tweak it a little bit, because how can you say top 3 of all time? I haven't played all top 3 of all time, and I'm not sure if that's what he did in the video, but he picked 3 that were like 3 of his favorites, I guess you could say. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something similar. I'm gonna pick 3 of my favorite shoot-em-ups of all time and kind of showcase them for you guys a little bit. So let's start off with the first one. Again, these are in no particular order, but let's go ahead and start off with the first one.
Number 1.
Sylphid on the Sega CD.
Originally released for the PC-8801 and the FM7, Sylphid was a Sega CD game that was brought onto the little CD system add-on that could, back in 1993. By upgrading the game's visuals by using pre-rendered full-motion video in the background, Sylphid was immensely impressive to me as I played. I loved the entire experience of hearing commands in my speakers telling me to turn left or to avoid asteroids or enemy ships. With laser explosions and blasts coming at you, along with furious enemy fire, Sylphid was as captivating as it was distracting. While I thought the color schemes at times kind of mixed together in a mess of gray, I thought it worked really well for the game. The music is upbeat, high-energy symphonic dance with orchestra hits aplenty. It really keeps you motivated to keep going. The story is, well, I'll just let the game tell you.
In the year of 3076, an unmanned Solar Space Force fleet suddenly started to attack the colony planets. The Greason system, the central photon computer that integrates and controls the whole galaxy network on the mother planet, Earth, was network jacked by an unknown terrorist group. The leader of the terrorists solemnly introduced himself as Zakarte. The survivors of the Galaxy Union and the colony planet's fleet assembled all their forces to strike at Zakarte. 64 light years lay across their way to the solar system. After drastic restructuring and the addition of reinforcements to the tactical fighter spacecraft, the SA-77 Sylphid, their last resort, the remaining fleet began the counterattack. Their destination? The mother planet, Earth.
This one is still on the relatively cheap side, so grab it while you can. Approximate current price range, complete in box, between $15 and $30.
Game over.
Number 2.
UN Squadron on the Super NES.
When most people think shoot-em-ups, they don't really think of the Super Nintendo. I think it's because of things like potential slowdown. And while UN Squadron does have a bit of this, it's one of my favorite shooters to play on any system. UN Squadron was released for the Super NES in 1991. It was originally released in arcades in 1989, but to me, the Super NES version had better music and more approachable gameplay, despite smaller sprite sizes. The game is based on the manga and anime series Area 88. You can pick from 3 different pilots: Shin Kazama, Mickey Simon, and Greg Gates. Weirdly enough, I always thought Shin was a girl, and I didn't learn until years later that it was a guy. Regardless, I always picked Shin because I liked his hair. I did not pick Mickey because he looked like a jerk, and Greg had a big nose. Yeah, I was a shallow preteen. Flying your jet fighter, you have an attack beam that can be permanently upgraded depending on how many power-ups you get. There's also little secret items that can be found that will do various things like increase score, double your sub-weapons, and give you shields. Levels are laid out on a map where a commanding officer gives you details. The map increases for more potential levels as you beat more stages. There's these little cars that you can attack to get bonus cash, which really helps you save up enough to start buying better ships. Each ship has different possible sub-weapons that can be purchased. The music in this game is fantastic, with some of my favorite tracks of all time on the Super NES. Heavy metal guitars wail with that classic Capcom sound that I love. This one definitely comes highly recommended. Approximate current price range loose between $15 to $25. Number 3.
Battle Mania Ginjo on the Sega Genesis and Sega Mega Drive.
I do want to mention before we start this one that it does have flashing red and blue lights, so if you're potentially epileptic, you may want to skip this one. When I first heard some of the brash sounding overdriven guitar while watching the intro to this game, I knew it was something special, and boy was I right. Released for the Mega Drive exclusively in Japan in the year 1993, Battle Mania Ginjo was a frantic, exciting, and visually captivating title that simply must be owned by any shoot-'em-up and Mega Drive fan. Though the Japanese cart goes for insane money because even in Japan it received a low print run, reproduction carts are completely worth checking out.
Now some of you may be saying, Battle Mania Ginjo, that's weird, but that also kind of sounds familiar. Well, one of the reasons is because it's based off of a game called Troubleshooter. It's actually the sequel. And this is another really great shoot 'em up if you want to check it out. This is the prequel. But personally, I think the Battle Mania Ginjo, also known as Battle Mania 2 Troubleshooter Vintage, is way better. Now, unfortunately, we never got this one out in the States, but there are reproduction carts. This actually is a reproduction cart with a really cool fancy box that I got. So definitely recommend checking out the sequel. And if you've got time, check out the original as well.
You play as Madison, a blonde-haired girl who can fire her weapon only in one direction. However, after the first stage, you're introduced to your partner, Crystal, who can be switched back and forth to shoot left or right. Depending on which weapon you pick at the beginning of one of the 9 stages you'll play through, your weapon will periodically charge itself, allowing a Mega Blast to clear enemies or attack for massive damage. There's little cutscenes in between the levels that try to fill in the plot, but as far as I've gotten, all I know is that Crystal likes to wear bathing suits, and they are dead broke mercenaries trying to make some cash. I just love the visuals in this game. There's some really impressive mirroring of sprites, as well as intense parallax scrolling, and the whole thing runs super smooth thanks to the Genesis's killer processor. Approximate price range for an actual Japanese cart? Between $600 and $1,000. Stick with a reproduction, which can easily be purchased online between $20 to $40.
So that's going to do it for my top 3 Tuesday. And I want to know what you guys think. Make a list of your top 3 favorites, or just 3 of your favorites for shoot 'em ups, and leave the comments down below. If you like the video, like it, and if you like the channel, subscribe. And I will see you all very soon for hopefully another top 3.